Tumors grow on saturated fats, actively consuming them. And
in this video, I'm going to be talking about how CD36 drives metastatic initiating cells, and MICs is short for metastatic initiating cells. And so CD36 is a fatty acid transporter or fatty acid scavenger receptor on the cell surface. And in many cancers, a CD36 high subpopulation behaves as metastatic initiating cells. So these cells are rare but powerful, and they survive in circulation. They seed distant organs and they successfully form new tumors. Okay, now how CD36 makes these cells dangerous? Because CD36 allows cells to take up long chain fatty acids as fuel or signaling molecules, and also gains resistance to stress, such as oxidative stress and nutrient deprivation, leading to better survival during metastasis. So it even has stem-like properties, which means a tumor initiation can start even if a few cells can regrow a tumor, and even therapy resistance. So CD36-driven MICs can survive chemotherapy and radiation. So that goes to prove that chemotherapy is pretty much useless. Also, chemotherapy has many other serious consequences, such as the weakening of the heart muscle. So chemotherapy is definitely not a good cure, and also proves why prevention of cancer is the best cure. Okay, so MICs are often the root cause of relapse and metastasis. So sounds like relapse is when cancer comes back out of remission. Now, unfortunately, the next oil that I'm going to talk about up next, I've seen in many food ingredients lists in the grocery store. And what this oil is palmitic acid, or inside of palm oil. And common dietary sources are butter, cheese, whole milk, red meat such as beef and pork, processed foods such as chips and baked goods, also fast food and fried foods such as fried chicken, fast food, possibly fast food restaurants like Burger King, McDonald's, etc. And palmitic acid is a major dietary saturated fat that enhances CD36 effects. So, experiments have shown that palmitic acid exposure can program cancer cells into a more metastatic state. So, what happens with high fat intake, more fatty acids available in circulation, and then CD36 plus cells, they import these lipids efficiently, and leading to increased metastatic capacity, or in other words, cancer cells spreading throughout the body and other organs. Okay, the next piece I've talked about in other videos, and that is Megalin, or LRP2 as another way of or another symbol for Megalin, and it's a receptor involved in uptake of lipids, vitamins, and hormones. So basically, if a Megalin is low, that can lead to vitamin B12 deficiency, but I covered that in my other Megalin videos already, so you can check those out if you want. But in some contexts, reduced Megalin expression because of high fat can cause cells to compensate by upregulating CD36. So therefore, that means that there's a stronger MIC phenotype under high-fat conditions, or in other words, the keto diet. And the result is greater reliance on CD36-mediated fatty acid uptake. So, as a result of a Megalin going down, CD36 goes up, or in some contexts. So, another thing that fatty acids do, especially if they're too high, it actually increases transcription factors of invasion genes, or metastasis. Because what fatty acids do is that they're converted into acetyl CoA, used by histone acetyltransferases, and then chromatin opens. So chromatin, basically inside of the chromatin is DNA, and then leading to the transcription of invasion genes. Because the transcription factors and genes, if the chromatin is open, then they can go in and interact with the DNA, enabling the genes that allow metastasis and cancer cell invasion. And this could happen because of fatty acids. Rank foods by palmitic acid content. Now, this is a lowest to highest. So, lowest starting at number 1 is whole milk. Number 2 is cheese. Number 3 is butter. 4 is pork. 5 is beef. And then up to the highest with palmitic acid is processed foods such as chips and baked goods, and fast food and fried foods. So avoid McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken as much as you can. Number 8 with the highest is a palm oil, highest, extremely rich in palmitic acid. So if you look in the food ingredients, you will see, or depending on which food product it is, palm oil. And palm oil is one of the most concentrated dietary sources, 40 to 45% palmitic acids. Processed and fast foods often combine palm oil with animal fats, amplifying exposure. Also, palmitic acid promotes expression of Stemness genes such as SOX2 or SOX2 and nanog-like programs or nanog, N-A-N-O-G. Also, experiments show that exposure to palmitic acid can reprogram cells into a long-lasting metastatic state, or cancer cells spreading to distant organs, and even if after the fatty acid is removed. Okay, you may have heard me say this in other videos, but there are these adhesion molecules. Basically, they're called a VCAM1, ICAM1, and cancer cells, they use integrins to bind on or to kind of like to latch on to the VCAM1, ICAM1. What that does is that it allows the cancer cells to migrate, to like literally roll inside the blood vessel walls or the walls of the organs, allowing them to metastasize. And the way palmitic acid or palm oil allows the integrins to cling on or to grab onto the ICAM1, VCAM1s is that the palm oil causes signalosome remodeling, and then lipid rafts and membranes become enriched with saturated fats. What this ends up doing is that it enhances the pathways like integrin signaling, which means that the integrins could possibly bind onto the ICAM1, VCAM1. So that's it for the video. If you're interested in more future videos, then make sure to like, comment, and share these videos with your friends and family. And subscribe, keep it locked in here on this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.